Touch your toes.
Have you ever looked at all the gear musicians use and wonder, how does it all work? My name's Dustin, and my family and I are setting out on a quest to inspire both adult and kid musicians to create new sounds together and learn all about what it takes to produce great music. We'd like to invite you along on the journey as we explore the gear professional studios, musicians, and hobbyists use to create their art. We'll take a close-up look at the gear and ask,
What's this button do?
Hello everyone and welcome to this week's episode of What's This Button Do? I'm your host Dustin, and today we're going to be looking at something a little different than I typically review. This week I am heading out to the NAMM show in Anaheim, California, and I wanted to take some video footage and do some things for you here on the show for next week's episode while I'm out there. So I unpacked my trusty favorite way to record sound when I'm on the road, the DJI mics. I have been using these for about 6 months now and absolutely love them. But as I was testing them and getting ready for the show, I noticed a little review online that said that there was a new set of mics from DJI called the Mic 2. So local shop had some. I went out and picked them up because I wanted to see the main difference between them. And I thought today it would be kind of fun for us to take a look at both of these sets of mics and show you what they're all about, because I genuinely believe for anyone who is trying to record sound with their cell phones, and whether it be for something like I'm doing where you're going and interviewing people in public places or trying to capture sounds, but also for your school recitals, your concerts with your children. If you want to find a way to mic them and be able to hear them singing and performing, there is no better way to do that than with these DJI microphones. So join me over at the demo table. Let's take a look at them and I can walk you through the differences between the DJI Mic 1 and the DJI Mic 2. Okay, the first thing we're going to take a look at is the original DJI mic set. So I've got it sitting here in front of the demo board, and you can see it's a real simple compact case. It has no latch here. This is just a magnetic closure lid. When you open it up, you can see the batteries light up to tell you what you've got. And it's a real simple interface here. You've got two little clip-on microphones, and these are really cool because they have a power button over here. You have your USB to be able to hook it up and pull from the internal memory. And each one of these has about an 8-hour memory on the inside of it, so that you can, if you don't have the receiver set up and you've just got this lav mic on and you want to record notes to yourself, just little things, or maybe you're if you're a musician, singing a song idea or putting a little melody out there that's in your head. I love these because you can just click this little record button, start talking into it, and everything you're saying is being recorded. So it's like having a little dictaphone on you at all times, which is really, really, really handy. And then you can just dump that from this little USB cable in here, this little USB interface, plug that into your computer, download the sound files. It's great. These have about a 14-hour record time of total hours that you can use on one charge, which is really, really awesome. These will last you all day if you're out there. So I think for NAMM, this is going to be perfect. I don't have to worry about charging these during the day, but the case acts as a charger as well. So that's really nice that you can charge them back up if you start to lose charge. But the total operating time when it's not recording, just if you have them powered on, is about, I think it's 15 hours with this one, where the new version is 18 hours, which is a little bit better battery life, but very similar in the two. You just get about 25% more or 20% more battery life. And then the other thing that's really cool on the back of these is you can see this little clasp right here that opens up so that you can clip it on. On both versions, there's also a really high-powered magnet on here too, so that if you're wearing something where maybe you don't want to clip it on there, you want to attach it with a magnet, you can do that as well, which is really, really cool. But otherwise, really neat design. Then you pull this little booger out right here, and you'll notice that there's something kind of cool going on. You have on your receiver here, you've got a power button, you have your external hookups, and you even have outs for headphones and for a microphone so you can monitor yourself. But then you have both a USB and a Thunder connection here, and you just slide this in depending on what kind of device you're going to be hooking up to. So like in this case, I'm going to hook up to my iPad or my iPhone. So I just hook on the little Apple connector right there. And now I can easily clip this in to my phone here. Let me pull up my phone. I can clip this in. And now when I power up now, this is going to be able to record audio directly from these units, which is really, really, really cool. So super simple, and you'll notice right away, because I've got two microphones active here, you can see lit up on my camera, you've actually got the signal from both of those microphones. So if I pull one of these out, it's now working. Now, the problem is with this unit is everything on here is operated off this little tiny touchscreen, and you'll notice my fingers are absolutely huge. So if I want to adjust anything on here, I have to come in with my gigantic fingers and try to select all the things that I want to adjust, which can be a giant pain in the rear when you're trying to do things if you have huge fingers like I do. This is where the new units come in. So let me show you the difference here. I'm going to pull this out, and I'm going to bring in the new unit. Now, the first thing you'll notice is it comes in a little nicer packaging. You get this really cool little waterproof carrying case. You open it up. Now, mine comes with the cable so that you can hook this directly into your camera. It comes with two really nice windscreens for you to be able to put over the units. And then it comes with this nice little carrying case. Now, first thing you'll notice, if I hold these two cases up side by side and put them together, you notice the new version is slightly bigger than the old. The old, the nice thing about it is you could throw that in your front pocket, no issues. It was super, super handy. The new case is a little bit bigger, but what you'll notice is it actually has a clicking latch, so I can't accidentally open this, where with the old one, if I just thumbed it a little bit with a little pressure, you could open that. Here, you cannot open it without clicking that latch, which is super handy. Now, you notice the layout, very similar here. You've got an almost identical look when you first open this. You got your two pieces on the side, two pieces on the side, your connectors. But here's where it gets really, really fun. With this piece, when I pull out this receiver, first of all, I can hook this in so much easier. I know this is going to sound cheesy, but the little slider on here to be able to hook it into your phone goes in so much easier on the newer model. On the old model, I found myself fighting that constantly. When I try to, if I push this out, for instance, I am putting a ton of force in that to get that out, and to get it back in, I really have to push it in there like that to get a solid connection. On here, it's almost effortless. It takes a little bit of force, but I can sit there and do that all day long. Way easier. This, I know it sounds cheesy, but that is one of my favorite design improvements in this entire system. That makes life so much easier. And any of you who I think have dealt with the DJI one, feel free to comment down below. I bet you've had that same problem, because that is something that just drives me nuts. Now, what's really cool here, again, same thing. I can click this in, and now I'm ready to go. I click on this, and you'll notice there's a little rotary wheel here. Now, this rotary wheel is super handy because this lets you instantly be able to adjust your input levels. You can see I have my little gain levels there up by that M, or I can go down to the individual microphone. So if I activate some of these mics, so I pulled out one, now this one's live. If I want to change the gain on that, maybe I want to reduce it a little bit, I can turn the gain up and down. Let's see if I can get that to focus in there. There we go. I can turn that gain up and down by just turning this wheel. So much easier for people with big hands like me who want to be able to easily adjust things on the fly. This is so simple. And if I've got both microphones activated at the same time and I turn on the second mic, the second that I get it on, it's going to do the exact same thing. I'll be able to actually use both mics and click over to whichever mic that I want to do by just clicking this wheel, and then I can adjust the ups and downs depending on where I want it to be at. Super, super, super handy. Now, what I'll do is I went to the grocery store last night with Aria, and we walked around inside the grocery store with both of these hooked up. I'm going to show you what they sound like, getting some distance with a lot of sounds going on around us so you can hear the difference between the two mics. Honestly, sound quality wise, they're both pretty darn close. They get a pretty similar view. The part that's a little bit different to pay attention to as you hear the walking around background noise is I want you to focus on the other stuff happening around, not just my voice and Aria's voice. Pay attention to the background noise, because what you're going to hear is I'm standing by a meat counter in a grocery store. Aria is walking up and down. There are people all around her, and the meat counter actually has a saw going on behind me. So there is a lot of noise happening in the area. I want you to hear how the sound quality changes between the two. Like I said, they're both excellent microphones. I have no qualms with the quality of the mic one, but you'll be able to hear a little bit of difference in there. Now we're going to test distance. We're going to use the originals. Aria's going to go all the way to the end of the store and tell us the story as she goes. Go for it, Aria. That's it.
I love milk. Gonna go get some milk. Gonna go get some milk.
Still getting signal all the way over there.
Whoop-a-doop-a-doo.
Should be halfway across the
Gonna
room
go get some milk.
in a big building.
It doesn't have the milk here. Well, that's all right.
Now we're going to do the new version, and we're going to set the gain at 0 on both of them. All right, Aria, go for it.
Gonna get some breakfast cereal. Now we're gonna see some mini brownies.
Still getting good signal.
Gonna see some hot dogs. Wait, those are hot dogs. And now some drinks. Drinks. Yummy drinks. Now we got some lemonade and orange juice and snow grenade.
She's reached the end, and we're still coming on strong.
I found
Lots of
my
noise all
life
around her. That's
tested.
good.
Whipped cream, chocolate milk, and normal milk, and Oreos. Yogurt. There's so many kinds of yogurt. Do everything. Do.
All right, so I hope you could tell a little bit there. The couple things that I noticed right off the bat. On the first video, which was Aria with the original DJI, you'll notice as she's skipping away, the microphone is picking up a little bit of scratchiness. I clipped that mic pretty much in the same spot on her neck when she was walking around. But you'll notice that it picks up a lot of extra scratch and beats whenever the mic touches any fabric, where the microphone on the newer units really didn't do that. And I think part of that comes from the way that the grills are done. I'm going to show you the difference between these. There's a little difference. Basically, on the originals, you've just got that exposed microphone right over here that's anything that touches it is going to pick up. Here you have a grill cover on the microphone, kind of protecting it, shielding it a little bit. I think that gives you a little bit more coverage, even when you don't have a windscreen on. You're allowing yourself a little bit more caution there. You're not quite getting as heavy scratches on there. And I think it comes through in the video. You can tell you don't really hear that sound on the second mics versus the first. The other thing is the background noise. I was so impressed by how the new mics really took out a lot of the background noise and kept it focused on its subject. That was super, super impressive. And that leads me to why I wanted the new mics to begin with. There's one other type of sound I want you to hear, because this has just been so far directly recorded in. You're hearing what the mics are picking up. But when I originally got the first DJI, my hope was I would be able to take those to demo days, like when I'm going down to Palen Music to do like a clinic on pedal boards. I wanted to be able to mic my cabinet by just throwing one of those down in front of it and playing along with it to see what would happen. But when I did that with the original DJIs, what I noticed is you had to be very careful because you could overload the signal in the microphone really easily. And then you'd be dealing with a lot of scratchy sounds. And because you're kind of just using your phone to record, that can be a little rough. It doesn't sound very good, and it's hard to edit that on the fly. But because you have the new adjuster on the new DJIs where you can adjust on the fly, you can kind of do a couple quick test videos and adjust the gain really, really easily on the second microphone and be able to record some amazing sounds directly from an amplifier by just setting one of these about a foot in front of it. So what I thought we'd do now is we're going to hop over to an amplifier here in the room. I'm going to plug in a guitar directly in. I'm going to test it with both microphones. We'll do the DJI 1 and the DJI 2 and let you just hear what they sound like. I want you to hear them for yourselves. So let's hop over to the amplifier now. I'll just record a little part. I'm going to play it with just no gain at all. And then I'm going to play it with a little bit of fuzz on both of them so you can hear them, and we'll just test them out and see what you think. Okay, from this point on, what you're going to be hearing is the audio coming from the DJIs while I'm doing this little recording. So we're going to play just a simple riff. I've got this mic clipped on a very specific spot on my hoodie. I'm going to make sure I clip the DJI 2 in that same spot. And then I've got a place marked right in front of my Mesa Lone Star amp in the same spot for both or both microphones, so I'll make sure that everything's aligned and set up exactly the same way as we do these recordings. So let's start with the DJI Mark 1. We're gonna just play a little riff on the guitar, nothing fancy. Cool. Now let's add some fuzz to the mix, because when it gets a little loud, let's see how this handles it. Ready? All right, let's hear how that sounds. Now we're going to change this over. I'm going to switch over to the other receiver, and let's see how that handles the exact same test. All right, now for the DJI Mark II, what we're going to do, I've got my receiver on my neck set in the same exact position, and I've got it at 0 gain, just like I did on the first ones. And I decided to go ahead and gain match down there. We're going to use -7, just like I did on the original versions. I'm going to have the floor model set at -7 on the gain, so that way you can hear it just even Stevens, apples to apples comparison here. So let's listen to our clean tone first. Sounding good? All right, now let's add in a little of that fuzz and see what we get. Okay, there's one last thing that we didn't talk about in the videos, but I think this is a really important distinction for the DJI Mark IIs. The other really cool thing about this system is these individual receivers are Bluetooth capable. So if you don't want to hook the transmitter up and you want to Bluetooth directly into a phone or another source that takes Bluetooth transmission, you can actually use these for Bluetooth. I like using the receiver because I like being able to adjust everything on the fly. But if you needed to, you've got a cool way to Bluetooth in using those receivers as well, which is something the original just couldn't do. And that really sets it apart from there. The other really beautiful thing too is when you're using your receiver and you're setting it up on your phone, you can also have both mics work in mono mode, or you can have them work in stereo mode. So if you're creating a stereo image, maybe you're wanting to record a guitar part and you're wanting to set the mics up and to create like a stereo image of that, you can do that with the new system and have the mics working in stereo or in analog, no matter which version of setting you're using. Where before, in the original settings, only the USB-C mode would actually work in stereo, nothing else did. So that is a big upgrade for those DJI's Mark IIs. All right, I hope you like that. Like I said, these are both amazing products. If you've got the DJI Mic 1, unless those features really appeal to you that I talked about, you'd be fine with doing the Mic 1. I am very excited about the Mic 2, especially for recording sound. If I want to do a demo of an amplifier or something like that, I think the Mic 2, having that easy to adjust feature on there, makes it the perfect microphone for me. So I really do like the upgrades. I think they solved a lot of the problems that I was having with the Mic 1. But for those of you who are just using it to record your children at concerts, or just trying to capture basic interview talking sounds and not having to do a lot of extra sounds on top of that, the original mic from DJI, I think, performs excellently, sounds great, works really well, and has a huge range. So don't be afraid of getting that and saving yourself the extra $100 or whatever the price difference is between them. I think they're both fantastic products. But if you're going to be recording instruments, if you're going to be recording things that you need to be able to adjust the line level on the fly, I do think what that brings to the table. And if you're doing a lot of sound editing, now I'm going to give you the raw sounds, all of the stuff that you've heard captured today. These are just the straight sounds out of there. I'm not doing any editing to the sounds. But the other big advantage, I think, is being able to record the higher data levels on the audio on the new Mic 2s. So for sound editors and people who are going to go back and really edit that and make it sound really good for a professional style recording, that's the other thing that the Mic 2s do really well. Well, as always, I'd like to thank my friends at Palen. They're actually sending me out to NAMM this week so that I can go get some footage, meet some people, and hopefully be able to bring some new demos this year of fun products for you guys to check out. So next week, we'll be doing a little NAMM review. I'm going to show you some of the fun things that I saw at NAMM and kind of go over my favorites that I've taken in while I'm out there. And then hopefully later this year, we're going to be exploring a lot of this new gear that's coming out as we continue to write our songs and kind of proceed with this new album. I'm excited to see what happens. So thank you all for coming out. I really do appreciate you. I look forward to seeing you next week. If you get a chance, please hop onto social media. Give me a follow on Instagram. I'll be posting live from the NAMM show on there this week. So feel free to hop on there and take a look, and I'll try to get you some good information as I'm walking around the show live and in real time. So thank you so much. Look forward to seeing you next week. Have a wonderful week. Take care.